G'day footprinters, Chrissy here. Wow, new year. I hope everyone had a happy and safe introduction into 2020. Firstly, I want to welcome some new subscribers whose names have shown up. Jaya, Grace, Sue Ellen, I think had subscribed before, at least she's been watching for a while. Gus, Anna, Day, Brenda, Lisa, Sunday 1717, Deborah. Thank you and thank you so much. I'm very humbled and honoured that you decided to join me in my tarot journey and other. I love getting the comments I got about Ivanka and all the stuff that she's being investigated for. I will have a look. But there was something I wanted to read on and it's gone out of my mind. Have a look. Thank you to Brenda, the lady who subscribed and also who commented on my Celtic cross. Yes, I'm aware that it's traditional Celtic cross, but it also reminds me just to tell people that the one I generally use, when I expand it a little bit and modify, adding in a couple of cards taken from Tarot's Apprentice, Word of Warning, Word of Solace, and I throw in on the bottom card as part of the overall reading. Otherwise, I do tend to, it is just that cross with those extra cards there. But I don't mind comments like that. It's just a reminder to just let people know if I'm using a modified thing. Let's see. It's got a total blank on what I was thinking I wanted to read on. Mitch McConnell's trying to buy votes in the state of Kentucky with almost $1 billion worth of benefits and grants and all sorts of things. I was looking at something today. What was I looking at? Anyway, I think I'll look at tensions with Iran going to increase with the United States. I know Trump Jr. came out and said, "Oh, my father's handled that marvelously well, so much better than the disgusting way Obama handled Benghazi." Well, there's two completely different things. What happened with the Baghdadi embassy in Baghdad was unfortunate, certainly, and yes, some damage was done, but I don't think there was any ever intent to hurt or harm or kill anybody there, even though the people protesting are not the happiest. Benghazi was a terrorist attack, and it took 2 days for people to get out of the embassy this time around, and the Iraqi forces got them out of there. None of the US forces. Benghazi, it was over, and I did a timeline. I looked at the timeline for the Benghazi incident. It was over and done with in 24 hours. So I don't, there's always concern with things like that, and rightly so, but comparing this, and I looked at some comparisons with other incidences like the Tehran and other places where embassies have been. This is, unfortunately, it's not minor. They're never minor when someone attacks an embassy in any way, but as far as comparing it to Benghazi and others, not really up there. But that doesn't mean that it's not the start of more tensions. So I'm going to do an overview spread on the general situation. I'm using the Golden Universal Tarot. So An overview spread on the general situation with Iran and the US. Okay. Death. It's something's coming to a head. So I think that this it's a change, and I think it's also a change is going to happen. Something's coming to a head, and it's going to be a change in the relationship from what people have striven for it to be in the last few years. Sorry about that, I accidentally turned it off again. Here I go again. You know what? I'll just pour. Okay. Back. So, overview spread on tensions between the US and Iran. Oh, bugger. I just started shuffling again. Anyway, so we had so we'll start this fresh, and we had the death card. That was an indicator of things coming to a head. We'll do a couple more shuffles and see what shows up then. Going back towards the way things were, I think it's, you know, Obama took many steps forward with the Iranians, and this indicates that Trump's administration, they're just taking backward steps. They're just taking backward steps. Okay. The situation. Money, resources. This is the three of Pentacles. Group. Trump's working with others to destabilize the situation, I think, and there's resources in Iran. They've got oil and this and that, and people want to get their hands on those resources. And you know, if it means provoking an incident that can provoke wars or whatever, military action, they'll do it. It's all about money and resources for them, not about security in the Middle East. Current influences on the situation. Yeah, the Emperor. No, that's the King of Pentacles, sorry. The King of Pentacles, Trump. The greedy king. What's above the whole situation? Strength. These are two nations who are trying to exert strength. Their strength. Iran to maintain their status quo in the Middle East, to maintain their position and maintain whatever power they have built up, and the US to basically go out and maintain their strength as a player in the Middle East, and try and become stronger at the expense of other countries, in this case Iran, Iraq, Syria. What's in the immediate future? Money, money, money. End of a cycle. Legacy. Again, it's all about resources. I'm going to try and I'll get a clarifier on this, but it's all about resources, and they're going to try and, I think, do something that's, but it's also about a legacy, the 10 of coins. So some actions are going to be taken in the near future. At the base of the actions, it's all about money. but it's going to leave a legacy that I think is going to be felt for several years, quite a few years, if the US and Iran don't tread carefully. I'm saying US and Iran, but I just get the feeling that it's the US, it's Trump, not the US as a country, not their military, it's Trump who's prodding all this. What's underneath the whole situation? Money, power, sitting pretty, lots and lots of resources. Out of 5 cards, there's 4 pentacles. What's in the past leading up to what's happened? Oh, this is, I don't normally read this as Putin, but this is Putin. Isn't he just a Rasputin-like man here? Bit of a mad priest about him. Putin's playing games there too. He wants the resources from Iran as well, and he wants to destabilize the area as well. So he's been playing his games for a while, and Trump's up there playing his game. What's the next step? Well, this is interesting. Hope. But the Star card is also about vulnerability. So I'm thinking, yes, vulnerability, not showing, in either party not showing their vulnerabilities as regard to what to do next. So I'm going to do a clarifier here on the 10. Knight of Wands, offers of action. So I'm going to go in and offer to back one country or the other up. What's with the Hope card? Details, hammering out the details. I think they might work something out. I think a third party, another country, is going to step in and say, hey, look, we can't have this happening. We'll work with the two of you to nip this in the bud. Working on the details, and hopefully, you know, without making the area more vulnerable. But there's still money. There's still money at the base of it. People want resources from a country that they have no right to. I'm going to ask that question for Putin's card. Is it about resources? That's the Emperor. That is a maybe. It might be about resources. Yes. Well, it is. Yeah, that's a maybe. Yeah. Resources are certainly playing a part. What is it for on Trump's part? Trump's been reviewing, and he doesn't think. You remember he made that crack about going into Syria or wherever and just taking their oil, Iraq or whatever, and just taking their oil. He sees what other people have, and he sees what the US doesn't have, and he wants to get it. Not really for the country, he wants to get it for himself, and he feels he comes up short. There's just so many of these dark cards are money, and yeah, I do think that a third party, another country, is going to step in and say, hey, look, hold your horses. You're winding back the clock in this area and taking it back to the powder keg that it once was, and we don't want that. So we're here to help with ideas and with actions. I'm sorry if you might have to speak up if you can't hear me properly. So anyway, that is the reading on the situation with Iran and the US. trying to remember what it was I wanted to read on. Gone out of my head. It went right out of my head. I was watching Linda G, and she seems to feel that Barr is not in a good way, so I think we might have a look at William Barr, just to add do an overview with him as well. Interesting. I said we'll look at William Barr finish shuffling, and that was on the bottom of that deck, so that's interesting. I'll use the Universal Celtic Tarot for William Barr, which is a great deck, fantastic deck, love it. I love all my decks, but you know that. So let's have a look. William Barr's health. So we'll have an overview of William Barr's health. I won't use this. I know a deck that I'll use for this. It's a kind of a morbid looking deck, but it's also, I think, if you're looking at some. Okay, this is the Modern Tarot Readers deck by Claire Goodchild, and it's got, if you're looking at health, it just seems to be a very interesting deck. So we're going to do an overview on William Barr and his health. Now, this is the first time I've used this for a proper reading, so I might refer to the notebook on occasion. It's a fascinating deck. I find it both interesting and macabre all at the same time, and beautiful as well. It's just so. Six of Coins. The Six of Coins. It's got a skull, it's got some vertebrae, I think. It's got pelvic bones. Same up as it is down. It's like there's pain in several parts of his body, not just in one part. It's shared. One of the things with Six of Coins is sharing, and the pain is shared throughout various parts of his body. So it's not just one part that's hurting, it's several parts. So we'll have a look. Calming Tonic Elixirs. King. Suit Elixirs. I think that's cups. So, like I said, I haven't used this yet, so, and that's right, yeah, so that's cups. Elixirs, the King of Cups. He needs to be calm. He needs a calm, quiet, steady environment. He needs an environment that's not full of emotional upheaval. He does not need someone like the unstable King Trump hounding him all the time. What's his current influences on his health? The world. Journey is coming to an end. It just seems to be spreading throughout his whole body, the pain. At the moment it's shared specifically in some areas, but it just seems to be spreading throughout his whole body. And the world is also about a cycle coming to a close. I won't tell you what Linda G said. It was in her 2020 predictions. You can go and see there. I think, okay, but so far it seems to be heading towards what she's got to say. What's above the whole situation? The Page of Rods, the Page of Wands, communication, news about actions that someone wants him to take, more news that he really doesn't want to know. Okay, and also people talking. People are coming out and saying, no, this is not right, what's happening, you can't be doing this. Yeah. What is in the immediate future for him? Chickens coming home to roost. The Three of Rods, the Three of Wands. He's in a high pressure job that's taking its toll. I think he was probably warned by his doctors against taking the job, but he didn't listen. And having ignored those warnings and taken the job, everything that the doctors and the people who care about him said is starting to happen. What's underneath it all? Justice. I don't think there's any justification in someone being so ill. I think in this term it's justice in that it is just he's neglected his health for a long time and hasn't listened to people and done the right thing. So it's worn on his heart. The Justice card is the heart. There's a heart here. And it's just natural justice. Not looking after yourself. This is what's going to happen. And it's just your body, his body can't do it anymore. And it's just natural justice that his body is shutting down. And I don't think he can really do much about it. Too late. Past events, the devil. Yeah, how the past is affecting all this. He made an alliance with the devil, with Trump. He said, yes, I'll come in and I'll fix it all up and run everything for you. And that's that action has added greatly to the situation he's in now with his health. In fact, it's probably hastened it. Maybe shortened the length of time he has. The next step with his health, the sun. Illumination. The word that popped into my head was stepping into sunlight, the relief of stepping into sunlight. I'm going to do a clarification on that. King of Rods, King of Wands, maturity. King of Wands is a person at their most mature, at the end of their cycle of a person. They have the maturity and wisdom of the years. Things are going to come to light, I think, with his health soon. Look, things aren't looking good for William Barr. He's extremely unhealthy. I am not going to predict whether he'll die or when or whatever. I mean, we all die in the end. His state of health at the moment is probably very precarious and in a very, very fine balance. And having ignored what people have said to him, having ignored what his own body is telling him, chickens are coming home to roost. And look, yeah. Things happen in a natural progression. You should never ever wish things to happen faster. Unfortunately, I think he's aligning himself with Trump and taking on a job he should never have taken on the second time round has shortened, has made a process that's been going on for several years quicker. Again, if you want more information on what Linda G says about him, you can watch her video, Linda G, Comanche Psychic, her 2020 predictions video, and she says a bit more about Barr. I tend to agree with what she says, but again, there's a basic rule with tarot is steer clear of predicting deaths and things like that. It happens. It's a natural part of life. You can't avoid it. But yes, so I do feel there's probably going to be some heartache for his family at some time during this year. Okay, so that is William Barr. I think I'm going to be using this deck for anything I do with people's health in the future. And yeah. So I'm thinking I'll do one more reading. It just popped into my head. Elaine Chau, Mitch McConnell's wife, Secretary of Transport. I'm going to ask the question, is she going to end up in the clink, in jail? So, and I'm going to do a quick 5-card, 6-card cross on her situation, asking the question, what sort of a situation is she in, good, bad, or indifferent? No, I'll do an overview again. I do like the overviews. So, Elaine Chau, what is in the air for Elaine Chau in the first part of 2020? Page of Pentacles. News coming out about money. Gee. Imagine that. Okay, what's her situation like in general? Six of Swords. Ms. Chau is in for a bit of a rough trot. This lady, she's got to get to that boat, but look what she's got to get past. Oopsie daisy. Yeah, she's got to get past all of these swords. And I can bet once she gets closer to them, they're going to start waving about. So, yeah, not looking 100% happy for Elaine. Current influences on her. 5 of Wands. Conflict. Oh, yeah. People are not happy with her. They're, you know, some people are hopping mad. She's taking actions that are huge conflicts of interest. In fact, I wouldn't hesitate to say that there's probably at least 5 incidences. This is a 5 of conflict of interest, where she's decided on things she just should not have had any say on. What's over the situation with Elaine Chau? 7 of Cups. Oh, she's going to try and hide things and gaslight and guard her secrets. What's in the immediate future for her? The Empress. Boundless possibilities. Ties. This Empress, she's tied to nature. She's got lots, she's blended into nature. She's bound to nature. She's tied to nature in her skirt and her, you know, her ties are very, very evident there. She's got news is going to come out with ties with, I think, Russia, and even more ties to China. What's underneath the situation for her? Page of Swords. Disappointing news, a spy in the camp. There's someone who is, I think, getting ready to tell tales on Ms. Chau. What's her past actions? Oh, her past actions with this are starting to haunt her a little bit. She is quite anxious and not happy. Things she's done in the past are starting to come back and bite her on the butt, or stab her on the butt. And yeah, she's got a little bit of anxiety happening there. And what's the next step in Ms. Chau's situation? 2 of Swords. I think there's going to be some decisions made about, this is making decisions, crossroads and making decisions. I think she's going to have to make a decision about resigning. I don't think she's really going to have much choice. But let's do a clarifier on that Empress. Knight of Wands. Somebody coming in with an offer of action, investigations. This is investigations. This person, this is the second fastest knight, the swift moving knight. New investigations, taking action. Her ties are going to be under even more scrutiny and investigation. And the next step, 10 of Swords. Yeah, not looking too good. End of the cycle. Is she going to go to jail? Let's ask that. Ooh, the devil. Ooh, that says no. The devil is a no card, but she's in for a world of grief. Okay, so today I've looked at the situation with Iran and the US, William Barr's health, and Elaine Chau. So I hope I've given you some insight, and I hope you've been entertained and enjoyed the reading. I'm going to love your footprinters, and I'll see you at the next reading.